want to talk about severe brain fog, which is something I've been dealing with a lot lately. Not to complain, but just to try to document what it's like while I'm in it, which is hard because you have to think to communicate well, and severe brain fog takes that away. So I'm not at the most severe place right now. But something I think unique about MACFS is the fact that unlike almost every other illness, it can just keep taking from you and keep taking from you. There's no limit. And you always think like there's some, whatever severity level you're at, you always think that there's some limit where it's just like there's part of your life that it's not going to touch. But those of you who've had ME/CFS for some time know that there isn't. It'll take everything. You can, at first, it takes your ability to exercise, but you're still out in the world, and then it restricts you to your house, and then it restricts you to a bed, and then you would think that like it would stop there, but it doesn't stop there. Then it stops you from moving very much in bed and being very active in bed, and then it invades your mind, and that's where it becomes a nightmare. 2 weeks ago, I was just feeling miserable because I could think about all the things that I wanted to do, all my dreams and goals, and I've kind of let go. I don't think about going on walks in nature. They're there in my mind, but as a sort of an abstract until I get better, just to keep myself sane. But I think about all the things that I could work on in bed, and also just the things that I love, the things that bring meaning to my life and joy, and the things that I find beautiful. But, and I was really miserable because I could think about those things, but I couldn't act on any of it. I couldn't work on any of it. And if I tried, I would lose the ability to even think about it. But lately I can't. I've lost the ability to even feel or think anything. And it's like I'm lying here. And when I was at my most severe and I crashed, I used to go into extremely severe brain fog, and I used to call it a thoughtless, feelingless void. And that's really the best way I can describe it. It's like there's just nothing there in your mind. And I'm back really close to that. I've just got barely enough in me to make a couple takes of this video and ramble a bit because I can't organize my thoughts. But and even like when it starts taking from your mind, you think there's like some limit that, like something that's yours, that is sacred and defines you in some way, or is you in some core way that ME/CFS can't touch. But there isn't. ME/CFS keeps going and will keep taking, and when it's at its most severe, there's nothing left, and you're just lying here unable to think or feel or process anything around you. So the world is totally overwhelming, and that's when stimulus and sound and noise and touch start to become too much. And and I'm not experiencing that right now, but the inability to feel the things that my whole life I've loved so much, and just bring me so much joy even to think about. I'm lucky enough to be able to listen to music and watch movies right now, ever since Abilify. But, listening to music right now, it sounds like noise because my brain can't process it. And I know a lot of you can't listen to music, and I'm lucky to be able to do both of those things. But when my brain can't turn the sound into beautiful music, and watching movies, I feel like I'm just watching these moving images on a screen, but my mind doesn't put them into something that means something to me. In cinema, they call it the suspension of disbelief, where the movie sort of tricks you into not disbelieving that it's just a film, and you kind of fall into it. So the filmmaker in me is thinking of that, that I'm not the suspension. That suspension of disbelief isn't happening. Couldn't help but geek out for a second. But I spent all day. I think I had 20 good minutes where I could sort of write something a little bit, and then it's just been this nothingness. And if you haven't experienced the nothingness, the thoughtless feeling, this void, you have to experience it to know how little you can feel and think. It's sort of like every level of ME/CFS where when you're housebound, it just feels like that's the most horrible thing in the world, and then you become bedridden, and it's like this whole new level of just torture, and you just wish you could go back to when you were at that time still complaining and feeling and really suffering. You wish you could go back to when you were housebound and really miserable, but that sounds wonderful now. But there's always, just always can get worse. I just have to, I think, trying to remember that it can always get worse is really, really hard. But sometimes you just have to keep going and, hope that it will all come back, because it always does. But right now I feel like a big blob. I really just feel like a big sack of flesh and bones. Sending love.